still locked up, and we ain't got the first dime. I'm like Alan. Obama should ask for immigration and reparation on the same day, and they put that in their pipe and smoke.
On the same day.
On the same day.
So when you say they, and I know you don't mind me asking you to clarify the they thing. You're talking about the government, or you're talking about since John Hawkins and his good ship Jesus. They. I'm slave masters. I'm slave
masters' children.
And their children.
They're the ones that reap the wealth.
Yes.
The slave master created. And think about that. I mean, the slave right now, Jews control the economic position, the powers of the world. Jews do. They made a lot of their wealth. Much of their wealth was made off of the slave trade. They control the slave trade. They financed the ships. They financed the buying and selling of slaves. The Jews, and when the Civil War broke out, the Jews financed the North and the South to fight over this.
And I think if we dig deep enough, we examine closely enough, historically, we can find those things that you just said to be factual.
Yes, they are.
Is that right? Those things are factual. It's not sitting up here talking about what I feel, what I think, what I believe, and what my emotions tell me to do. This is factual.
This is what they wrote in their own books. You go pull out their literature, the secret relationship between blacks and Jews.
Right.
That outlines their economic powers inside the slave trade.
Right. I heard about it. I started on it. I haven't finished it yet. But you know how that is when you have so much to dig into. But that day is coming. One more quick question for you, Omar. What do you say to those, particularly those African Americans who are opposed to reparations? They are against it. And they say, oh no, blah, 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 and etc. What do you say to those?
Here's what I say to them.
Okay.
Let's get reparation, and those who are opposed to it, let me have your share.
Okay. That's good stuff.
Yeah, let me have your share, because
that's a good idea.
I'll do mine. Yeah. And if you don't want yours, hey, I'll take, I'm sorry, I'll just gladly take it off your hand. Don't worry.
Okay.
I got a use for it.
Okay. Jeffrey, should African Americans take responsibility for their own quality of life? That may seem redundant, but I find that sometimes we need to continue with repetitive thoughts and ideas. Should African Americans do that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, I believe that is where we're going to find the solution to our problems is by self-examination.
Oh.
Because we become victims and we become vulnerable while we're waiting on other people to solve our problems. And this is not new information. If you don't mind, if I could go into a little bit of a solution for these economic issues. Okay. Sometimes if we go back and we study our own scholars, they have already provided a blueprint or pieces of the answer to our problems.
I see you have Dr. Carter G. Woodson there. You want to read something to us?
Absolutely. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the great psychiatrist, in chapter 14 in The Miseducation of the Negro, he has the subtitle for the chapter is The New Program. And it reads, "It seems only a reasonable proposition then that if under the present system which produced our leadership in religion, politics, and business, we have gone backwards towards serfdom, or have at least been kept from advancing to real freedom, it is high time to develop another sort of leadership with a different educational system. In the first place, we must bear in mind that the Negro has never been educated. He has merely been informed about other things which he has not been permitted to do. The Negro has been shoved out of the regular schools through the rear door into an obscurity of the backyard and told to imitate others whom they see from afar, or they have been permitted in some places to come into the public schools to see how others educate themselves. The program for the uplift of the Negro in the country must be based upon a scientific study of the Negro from within, to develop in him the power to do for himself what his oppressors will never do to elevate him to the level of others. So we have to quit asking other people for equality and find those values within ourselves that make us valuable to ourselves, and then we will become valuable to others."
Okay, very good. We've got 5 minutes, Omar, and I want to ask another redundant question, but I want to follow with that with another question about here on the Love Power Show. Are African Americans more specifically, men standing around, waiting on and complaining and bitching and moaning about what they doing to us, what they ain't doing for us, what they ain't giving us, waiting on someone to solve their own problems. And certainly here at this table, we're not doing that. And we hate to be so clear about the truth, but is this the truth?
You know, most African Americans want a job. If they had a job, they would go to work. But because they are so frustrated with the employment picture, then a lot of them go into a state of depression, which includes what you just mentioned, standing around, drinking, drugging, because they really don't like the picture they see, so they want to get out of that mindset, that reality, and go into a whole different mindset.
Escape. Mood and mind altering drugs are being used here.
Yes. It's a state of depression. And a lot of them don't know the way to employ. They don't know the way to self-employ. And we don't show them as black leaders in the community. We should be leading the way. We should be telling our children, we should not ask them what kind of job you're going to get when you graduate high school. We should be asking what kind of business are you going to set up. And we should show them some models on how to set up business, and we should be leading the way. Because people are not going to employ us, we got to employ ourselves. The Asian community, they're one of the wealthiest communities in this country, but 65% of those households have a business. In Black America, maybe 2%. They hire themselves, they work, and they make you buy from them. They won't even buy from you, even as a wholesale, they won't buy from you.
Right. We've got 3 minutes left, and this question of unity comes to my mind. And if African American men could get together like they do to go buy a big bottle of Swiss up, then we could get together and do some things. But we can get together and organize change in dollars and go run to the liquor store across the street in unity, in formation, and pick up a big bottle of Swiss up. What's that other one? Vino, Wild Irish Rose. If we had that kind of unity, we could get some things done. Is that right?
You know, let's look at that.
Okay, let's look at it.
Black men are the most powerful men on earth. That's why white men fear them and want to feminize them.
Okay.
Now, they got the power to go on a football field and kick tail because the white man gave them permission to do it.
Okay.
They all get in Bears uniforms or 49ers uniforms and go kick butt on the field.
How about those coats?
They do what the white man give them permission to do.
Yeah.
They wait for the white man to give them permission to come and kick his tail.
Right.
But he ain't about to do it.
The Cowboys.
He ain't about to do it.
The Eagles.
If we can get together like we get together for them with their permission and do it on our own.
That's right.
And take care of business, then there's nothing he can do. Unity is the key to our
It's
success.
key, right.
It's more powerful than an atomic bomb.
That's
Unity.
right. That's right. And we like that. And that's why, again, it's mental. But here on the Omar Love Power Show, have we presented solutions? Have we presented analysis, subject matter, ideas relative to those solutions here on this show right here? And how soon will it be before we can see any active results?
You know, we could see it as early as Black Friday.
Okay.
Brother of the Nation of Islam, Minister Akbar, said, Black Friday, we should not shop. Black folks should not shop with any merchant anywhere on Black Friday, because that's all. It's called Black Friday because they want our black money and their cash rate so they can take it home and take care of their children.
Yeah, right. That's another good idea that we need to be consistent about. Do you recall when the brother, who was a former, well, I don't know, city council member, had the Monday thing going?
Oh, yeah.
There was a Monday thing when people were encouraged to, I think it was to shop with black people or something like that.
Yes.
See, all these are good ideas.
Yes, out of that church.
Okay, right. So it's a matter, I think, is it a matter of repeating over and over again to African Americans? Is that?
We got to break the mental slavery. These shackles are still. This book right here has a picture of a black woman on it with a chain or with a lock on her head, a shackle around her brain.
I'm looking at it.
and that's because we have been miseducated, misguided, and we still are.
Well, that reminds me, and then I want to go to Jeffrey. We're very close. We're on the borderline here. Naeem Akbar wrote about the chains C-H-A-I-N-S, there's a difference, I hear people mix them up, and Images of Psychological Slavery, where he covered the fool, the buffoon, the clown, the whole gamut of what this mental incapacity is that holds African Americans back. You recall, and you're nodding your head, and I think you are familiar with that particular work. Brother Jeffrey, are you familiar with that work?
Absolutely.
Break it down for us.
Absolutely. Brother Naim Akbar is definitely just...
Take 20 seconds. I'm getting a signal from the technician.
Just trying to describe a somewhat of a double well, not a double consciousness, but the effects of different forces capturing the minds of Africans, because we have an alien mind. We may be black on the outside, but our minds have been have been changed.
Just go ahead. Okay, we're gonna have to leave it right there. We think this has been another great show. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and look forward to another show as we continue to go forward. We're gonna do our second show right after this, where we will be on the air again tomorrow with a different show. We can be seen on Facebook and YouTube as well. We thank you for listening. We thank the guests. I'm your humble host and moderator, Wallace Red, and now it's time for our theme song for African Americans, The Love Effect. Come on in with us, love power. Greatest power on earth.
I'm about to use this as a discussion format in the prison. And, the book called The Jewish Phenomenon. The whole book, I just ordered the book from Barnes and Noble, but I copied this off of the free read part of the free read book. And he's talking about how the Jews create the law, and how they, in their family, they expect you to do certain things. They just expect you. And they got a lot of, they expect you to do certain things. Graduate from high school is not even on the agenda. Graduate from college.
Right. Right.
And they say they got role models everywhere that show them this is the path.
Right. So, keep this.
Yeah, keep that. I want you to look at that.
I will.
It might come up on a piece of shelf.
Right. Yeah, I think it will. And we're gonna do.
Right into y'all going on the other side, do it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I go to one side.
We're gonna feminization. You just brought. We're gonna talk about that now in the next show. So, when can we get the camera over there? Yep.
Let me clear, I'm gonna clear that tape in 1 second, okay? Alright, bro, how you start this?